Hey lambs, welcome to Love and Murder. As you know, the weekly true crime podcast that talks about relationships that turn to murder. Now, when I say relationships, I don't just mean boyfriend, girlfriend, stuff like that. I mean marriage, dating, parent, child, relationships. With that in mind, I want to bring you this case that's actually currently ongoing. Have you heard of the case of the attorney who allegedly killed his mother? Richard Merritt is a disgraced lawyer who allegedly killed his mother on the day he was supposed to report to prison for stealing from his clients. This whole thing is just pure insanity. Like I said, the case is currently ongoing, so I kind of wanted to come on here and discuss the trial as it's going on and keep y'all up to date. So today is day 2, so we're not too late. And I do want to remind y'all that until a verdict is reached according to the law, everything I say is alleged, so please keep that in mind. If you don't want to miss an episode, make sure to subscribe to our podcast today or sign up to our newsletter on our website, www.murderandlove.com. The sign up box is actually right there on our homepage, so you'll be able to see it. So let's get into it. This case started 3 years ago in 2019 in DeKalb County, Georgia, but the issues with the former attorney began even before then. Now, imagine committing a crime that puts you behind bars for over a decade, but then you decide to go on the run instead. That's what happened to Richard Merritt. 3 years ago, Richard was found guilty of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars in settlement money from his clients and was sentenced to 15 years behind bars. So basically what happened was that it was found that Richard had stolen over $420,000 from more than a dozen clients. He would actually settle malpractice suits on behalf of his clients, but then he would pocket the settlement money for himself without letting his clients know. Now, Richard was out on bail because the judge had given him a couple of weeks to get his affairs in order before he began serving his sentence. On the day he was supposed to report to jail, which was February 1st, 2019, he just didn't show up. As police searched for him, they discovered that his ankle monitor had been cut off, but things got even worse when Richard's mother, Shirley Merritt, was found murdered in her home. The police believed that Richard stabbed her multiple times with a knife before beating her head with a 35-pound dumbbell. Quote, "The force was so strong, the knife lodged in her skull. The handle broke off. The right side of her head was bashed in." End quote. Damn, dude. As he was living with his mother while out on bond, Shirley was cooking her son his last meal before he would report to jail when the attack happened. After committing this gruesome crime, Richard then fled in his Lexus SUV to Tennessee and went into hiding under a new name. He started a new life by getting a job and even started dating someone new. But of course, Mr. Law eventually caught up with him. It was 8 months later when U.S. Marshals found Richard in Nashville and arrested him for the murder of his mother. As I said, Richard was already facing serious consequences for his previous crimes, so his sentence has now been up to 30 years. Richard is currently going through his trial where he faces charges of 2 counts of aggravated assault, malice murder, and possession of a deadly weapon while committing a felony. According to the State Bar of Georgia, Richard had actually given back his license or surrendered his license in January of 2018 before he was to be booked in his previous case. Since being caught, Richard is currently serving 15 years for violating his probation, in addition to the 15-year sentence he was given for theft and exploiting the elderly. Like I said before, for a total of 30 years. Also, he was ordered to pay $454,706 in restitution. Now, join me on my website every day that the trial is going on. I'll be live streaming the case and updates on my site. I will also post episodes on here, so please subscribe so you don't miss it. The live streaming is going to actually come courtesy of the Law and Crime Network. So all of my links will link back to them. I don't want to say all. Most of my links will link back to them. You can go to their YouTube channel to see the live streaming. That's where all these videos are coming from, is their YouTube channel. So as you know, I don't like taking away from anybody. Everybody works way too hard in this career choice. So I don't take away from anybody. So I get my live streaming from Law and Crime Network for this case, and y'all will too. So let me catch you up because like I said, this is day 2. And I'm trying to hurry up because right now they're on lunch and they're about to come back. And once they come back, we're going to hear from Richard's girlfriend. I don't know if they're still together, but she's about to take the stand. So day 1, opening statements. Of course, attorneys from both sides painted completely different pictures of Richard Merritt. Prosecutor Helen Pott gave a 27-minute opening statement addressing the jury where she discussed Richard's previous case and that he was supposed to be turning himself in to serve his 15-year sentence. She went into detail of what happened on the day he disappeared and when and how he was found. Here are some quotes from her opening statement. Quote, "You're going to hear some heartbreaking things and see some ugly, brutal photographs. He violated the trust of his clients, stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, many clients, mostly elderly. It will be very clear to you, Richard is guilty of all of these crimes," end quote. So those are like 3 different quotes. And the quote about the knife being broken off, that was her also. Now, defense attorney Heidi Wolfgruber then took over with her opening statements, and she pointed out to the jury that Richard had no history of violence and said that this, quote, evidence presented was only meant to distract the jury from the fact that there actually is no real evidence, like a lack of fingerprints or DNA at the crime scene. Quote, "The death was a tragedy. Everyone wishes she was here," end quote. So far in day 1, the jury was able to hear from 7 witnesses. Now, if you go to my blog on www.murderandlove.com, you can see the day 1 and day 2 videos, which like I said, was courtesy of the Law and Crime Network. Right now, day 2 is still streaming. They're about to come back from lunch. And also on my blog, if you don't feel like watching the entire video, there's a breakdown of day 1, courtesy of Court TV. You can see that on the blog, www.murderandlove.com. At the end of day 2, I'll be giving a recap on what occurred. And yeah, let's get into this. They're about to get back from lunch. So by the time I get this out, they'll actually be hopefully they'll actually be talking to his current girlfriend. I think current girlfriend, because they label her as girlfriend, on the stand. So let's get into it and let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Also, before I wrap, you can find the link to the direct blog post in the show notes below. So just click on that and you'll have all the videos and everything there. So that's all I have for you for right now. I'll see you soon. Bye.